Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. President Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden. It didn't catch me by surprise. There was no way in God's green earth, as a parent, you would not pardon your child if you were in a position as president of the United States and your child was convicted of federal crimes right before you got out of office, and you knew that you had the ability to pardon your child, that you wouldn't do it. It just doesn't pass the common sense test. But for months, maybe a year, President Biden said he would not pardon his son, that he would allow the criminal justice system to do his job. His own Justice Department tried Hunter Biden and he was convicted and he was getting ready to be sentenced to do time. But no more certain than when the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, Mr. President Biden has pardoned his son. And let's go back and rewind the history of this matter. And we will see from the president's own lips where he said he would not pardon his son. And for those who think that Joe Biden didn't say that, I got the video. Let's play the video.
Your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
From the lips of the president himself, he said he would not pardon his son. And if that is not good enough, let's add Miss Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, who emphatically said President Joe Biden would not pardon his son.
Son Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying it would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Boom. Emphatically, he would not pardon his son. I wonder how Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be able to spin that one. That he emphatically said he wasn't going to do it. After many denials, he would do so. Joe Biden granted his son, Hunter Biden, a blanket pardon in the federal gun and tax case against him Sunday night. The pardon, which covers any federal crimes by Hunter from 2014 to 2024, that's 10 years. The pardon absolves Hunter of any possible drug involvement, sex trafficking, lobbying, bribery, foreign agent, or other crimes involving Ukraine and several other foreign governments or companies, including China. The start date of 2014 coincides with the year Hunter Biden joined the board of the Ukraine energy firm Burisma in an influence peddling scheme alleged to have involved Joe Biden. Hunter Biden was convicted Tuesday of all 3 felony charges related to the purchase of a revolver in 2018, when prosecutors argued the president's son lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. Jurors found Hunter Biden guilty of lying to a federally licensed gun dealer, making a false claim on the application by saying he was not a drug user and illegally having the gun for 11 days. In September, Hunter pled guilty to tax charges. President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, pled guilty Thursday to tax charges in a surprise move just before jury selection was set to start in his federal criminal trial in Los Angeles. The last-minute change of plea headed off what would likely have been a painful legal and personal ordeal filled with sordid details of the younger Biden's life when he was addicted to crack cocaine, which was all displayed on the Hunter Biden laptop, which 51 intelligence agents said that Hunter Biden laptop was what? Russian disinformation. The case centered on Biden's failure to pay $1.4 million in taxes from 2016 and 2019, which the Justice Department let the statute of limitations run before they charged him with the gun charge. That was the Joe Biden's DOJ. But just because he's pardoned does not mean he can't be brought before the House and be forced to testify now that he's been pardoned. And if he so does that, then of course he can face further charges. In comes the pardon. Today, I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted, which was his Department of Justice. So how was that so? Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charges in this case came after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom. That is not true because the judge, they tried to do this sweetheart deal that would allow Hunter Biden to never be charged for anything ever. And the judge said, "Oh no, we're not going to have that." And he or she threw out that plea deal, and that's how we end up getting this case. The charge in this case came after only several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom, with a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's case. Sure, no reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. So I think that Joe Biden probably originally said he wasn't going to do it because he was going to run for re-election. They was going to let him be president. But then they went to Joe Biden and said, "Hey, you're cognitively declined. We're going to invoke the 25th Amendment if you don't step aside." So Joe Biden said, "Okay, fine. If I step aside, will you allow me to pardon my son?" They probably said yes. So he waited till the final deal was put in the coffin. Kamala Harris lost, and he said, I might as well fulfill the promise that you gave me that I'm going to pardon my son." Bam, boom, there it is. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle. Just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president will come to this conclusion. He said father first. Executive grant of clemency, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States of America. To all whom these presents shall come, greeting. Yeah. Be it known that this day, I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States, pursuant to my powers under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, have granted unto Robert Hunter Biden a full and unconditional pardon. There it is, folks. Mr. Joe Biden has pardoned his son, which we, like I said in the beginning, we all knew was going to happen. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you can like this video, hit that like button. Please share this video. If this is your first time here to the Retired Vet Show, please consider subscribing and turn on your notification so you know when I drop my next video. And as always, God bless you all. Stay safe.